Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We are in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I'm with Aldona today. Welcome, Aldona.
Thank you very much, Marc. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. And, for people who are new to the Psychology of Eating podcast, what we'll be doing today is this is like a client session, and I'll be asking Aldona questions and hopefully helping her move forward in any challenges with relationship with food and body. So Aldona, if you could wave your magic wand and get whatever you wanted with food or body, what would that be for you?
I think that would be the peace that everybody is talking about when it comes to food and body. But in particular, I would like to be able to trust myself when it comes to food choices, what I'm eating. And it has become very difficult for me because I've been diagnosed with Hashimoto's about 10 years ago. And back then I started my journey with food. I was trying to heal myself with food. But to make, long story short, at the introduction, it took me now to the point where I am stressed whenever I eat because I don't know anymore whether what I'm eating is helping me or it's actually, harming me. I'm completely confused when it comes to food and eating. I've done Paleo diets and elimination of gluten, dairy for years. And I actually think that all those eliminations harm me more than help me. But at the time, 10 years ago, I had much less knowledge than I have right now. And actually, the research was not there yet, or it was not known. I'm also from Poland. I've been living in the Netherlands, and the approach there, I think it's different than in United States. The functional medicine is still in its infancy. So I feel like very, very confused, and I feel like I don't trust myself anymore with what I eat, what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating, and in the end. Recently, I have been diagnosed with IBS, and food intolerances was something what actually was I think the moment when I completely lost it, because I've never had any digestive issues, and at some point, there was so much fuss about food intolerances, and I was trying to find them out for myself. But I've never had any digestive issues. I've never felt anything when I was eating. I don't know, bloating, gas, diarrhea, or any reactions of my skin. And at the moment, I basically. I believe I developed this IBS because of all the stress around food. Plus, my life also was a bit of a roller coaster in the last couple of years. So I'm at the point where I'm actually, confused, and I don't know what to do any longer to help myself.
So when were you diagnosed with Hashimoto's? How long ago?
It's been now around 10 years when I heard Hashimoto's, and before I was diagnosed with PCOS and insulin resistance, but that was on the edge, it was not too bad. Mm-hmm. So, I went through several other conditions.
And before the Hashimoto's diagnosis, how was your relationship with food?
It wasn't ideal either. Actually, I think if I go back, definitely when I was around 10, 12 years old, I started dieting. But I think it started earlier with me when I was around 5, when I went to school and kids were saying that I'm fat, basically. And I didn't understand it at that time. And my aunt was trying to explain me that this is not the case. But I think something was triggered for me back then when I was 5. But definitely when I was around 10, 12, I remember I started dieting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like my body. I always thought I'm too big, that my hips don't look like they should look like. So, the relationship with food had been affected already back then.
So have you been trying to lose weight over the years?
I think I've always been trying to lose some weight. Yeah, it's been like almost all my life, It was like, this like, 7 kilos, that I would like to get rid of.
Mm-hmm. And so when you were diagnosed with Hashimoto's, did you notice that you gained weight in that time?
No, not really, because my weight has been pretty stable for years, I may circulate around 2-3 kilos, but I'm around between like 60, 63. So it's I haven't had this episodes of gaining a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been always having the feeling like I should be below 60, below 60. Like, yeah.
How old are you now, Aldona?
44.
44. Are you married?
No, I'm not married, but I have a child.
Uh-huh. How old?
4.5.
Oh, and that child lives with you?
Yes, he's with me. Me.
So when did the IBS symptoms start appearing for you? Before you were diagnosed, you probably noticed that you had some symptoms.
Yeah. The IBS started. The symptoms of IBS actually started when we broke up with father of my son, with Alex, with father of Alex. Actually, a little bit earlier, when things were not that great between us, and it started with pain on the left side around my waist, and it was just a little bit, at the beginning, but it was becoming more and more over a period of time. So this I can directly connect to stress related to that event.
Yes. So we're going to come back to that in a moment. So just so I can be clear, one of the challenges you're facing right now is that given your Hashimoto's diagnosis, you're not sure what to eat. You've tried all these different diets, and now you really don't know what's right for you or what's going to give you a symptom or what's going to make you better. Is that true?
It's more that I don't want to do any more diets. I just want to eat clean. When I learned about, the diet for when you are insulin resistant, you basically can eat everything. It's just, certain, not everything, but let's say low glycemic index. But, you are not restricting yourself from anything. And I just want to have a freedom, of eating what I feel like my body wants to eat,
And what stops you from doing that?
I feel like since I don't have that connection, I don't feel that connection, I basically feel like I'm harming my body all the time, since I don't feel whether it's good for me or not, I don't trust myself in this. I feel like, I just make my condition worse.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question about that. So you said, I don't really trust myself, and I feel like even if I eat the way I think I should, I don't know if I'm harming myself. Are you noticing differences when, okay, I eat this food, I feel worse. I eat that food, I feel better. Can you notice changes in your body when you eat certain foods that, changes that aren't so good?
To be honest, not really. And that's the whole problem. That's, for me, it's like, okay, I can feel the pain on the left side sometimes. But it's like, it happens immediately after eating, so I don't think, the food is not even digested yet.
Yeah.
I don't. Yes. So it happens like suddenly out of blue. And, for me, I think it's, at some point, I was gluten, dairy free, nitrates free, all this. And at some point, I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore, like I never had issues with gluten, dairy. And it's like I have this war inside of me that, I would like to have this piece of spelt sourdough bread, with my breakfast.
Yes.
And on one hand, it's like I want to have it. On the other hand, and, it's like I had, two people on my arms. One is saying, yeah, just have it. It's what you want to do. It's right for you. And the other is like, yeah, it's gluten. It's probably something to your intestine.
So you're 44 years old now. Your son is a little bit over 4. And how do you see the next 15 years of your life unfolding? Are you going to be a single mom? Are you working? Are you staying at home?
Yeah, at the moment, I'm also, everything is changing in my life at this point. I've been working, I come from Poland, but I've been living in the Netherlands for the last 16 years. I was working there for international organization, and 2 months ago, actually, my contract came to an end. I would like to go back to Poland because, being a single mom in the Netherlands is, it's really difficult for me since father of Alex lives abroad. Also work-wise, I already knew for couple of years that this was what I was doing, at my work is not really my path. It's not something what I would like to do. And for years, I know now that I would like to actually do something with health, work with people.
Yes.
And I am a graduate of your school. I'm also a health coach. But it seems like, being a health coach of myself is the most challenging task.
Too hard to do sometimes. We need help. So let me give you some thoughts about how I see your situation. I'm always looking at our relationship with food and body as a lifelong journey. And that journey has a certain flavor. It has a certain color. It's a certain kind of story. And everybody's story, since they arrive on planet Earth, everybody's story around food and body tends to be different. And part of what I'm hearing is that from an early age for you, like a lot of people, you never really had a sense of being at home in your body.
This is true. Now I know it.
Yes. You never had a sense of being at home in your body because from a young age, somebody said I'm fat. What does that mean? And then some years after that, you find yourself dieting when you're 12 years old. So that's a very difficult place to be for a young person when we are already being taught to reject our own body. And we think, I need to change my body in order to be more lovable and in order to be acceptable and in order to be the real me and in order for people to like me, then I have to change my body, which means I have to focus on the food. And that's just confusing. It's confusing for a young mind. And then what happens is, for you, like a lot of people, we get a little bit of the perfectionist virus in our head. Like, oh, okay, I just need to lose whatever, the 6 kilos, whatever it is, and then it's all going to be perfect. So when we have this ideal sense of, I got to be at this specific weight, and you spend a lot of your years thinking about food, dieting, wanting to lose weight, not approving of your body, it's almost like we're reproducing the same insult that happened from the outside. So the world told you, somebody in the world, or somehow the world told you, your body's not good enough. So we take that message and we internalize it and we say, my body's not good enough. So nobody's telling you your body's not good enough anymore. And if they are, they shouldn't be your friend. You shouldn't be talking to them. If I meet somebody and they say your body's not good enough, I wouldn't waste a moment with them. So the only person that's saying your body's not good enough at this point is you, because we take on the insult, unknowingly. Now, on top of that, at some point you get diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So once again, you have to focus on food, but in a whole different way. Okay, exactly. Now I got to really focus on food, but I'm not even focusing on food for weight so much as I'm focusing on food for my health. And that is a very difficult journey. Hashimoto's is it's a name for a disease complex that there's really no answer for, or there's no easy answer for it. There's treatments, there's experiments, there's different diets you can try, there's different supplements you can try for sure, but it's not like, oh, here's your diagnosis and here's the cure. So now all of a sudden you need to become more of a nutritional experimenter, an explorer. And it's hard to do that when you're trying to fix your health and you're trying to fix a disease condition because you want to get it right. You don't want to do the wrong thing. You want to do the right thing. And so what do? You do the research, you try the different diets, and a lot of them are very different and they can be extreme. And I find it interesting how you mentioned that, I think a lot of these diets may have hurt me more than helped me. And I've heard other people say the same thing relative to Hashimoto's or other disease conditions. Because in part, what happens is sometimes diet can move the needle for our health challenges. Sometimes diet can move the needle a lot. Sometimes it only moves the needle a little bit. And it just might be that you're one of those people that when it comes to Hashimoto's, diet is not necessarily going to be the one thing that's going to fix it. But if I think diet should be the one thing that I'm going to fix it, then I'm going to keep doing all these diets. And then what makes all this worse for you, trying to be at home in your own body, is then you get diagnosed with IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome, a digestive condition. You never had digestive challenges before. I'm glad for you, Aldona, that you noticed, oh, this started, when things were not so good in my relationship, and it really got worse when we broke up. So what most people don't realize is a significant amount of our digestive challenges are connected directly, or at least indirectly, to stress in life. And it's just this strange thing about the digestive system. It's extremely sensitive to us. It's sensitive to our life experience. So it's your body letting you know, oddly enough, hey, Aldona, this really hurts. This is not fun. And a lot of times it's not easy for us to digest our life experience, to metabolize our life experience, to deal with the challenges that are going on. It's hard. What you're going through and having to be a single mom now, there's not a lot of people that grow up and say, yeah, I can't wait to grow up and have a baby and then become a single parent. That's usually nobody's dream. So I'm acknowledging for you that that's not an easy journey. And here you are. And I'm going to say your task is always going to be the same. Your goal is always going to be the same from here on in, and really from the time you were born, which is, how do I become more and more at home in my body? Now, when I say, how do I become more at home in my body? But yeah, part of that is being able to find peace with food, peace with your body. But that doesn't mean, peace with food doesn't mean you eat perfectly. Peace with food doesn't mean there's not going to be uncertainty. The peace really comes in part when you're at peace with, this is a challenge. This isn't easy. I'm trying to heal my body. I'm trying to live my life. I have all these changes going on. And how do I make it so it's when you're going through all these changes, I'm assuming, because I'm going to guess you're a good mother, that you want to make sure your child feels at home.
Yes, definitely.
You want to make sure your child feels loved, feels safe, feels protected, and feels like you're home for your child, like you're the home, even though we're moving. You're always the home for that young person. So exactly what you do for your child, I would love to see you do for you. So even when it gets difficult, you can count on you to be a place of safety for yourself. So part of that, sometimes you don't know exactly what to do as a mother. Sometimes you make choices, I don't know if this is going to work. What school do I send him to? But, there's choices that we're not always sure about, but you want to have a certain confidence with your child to let them know, I'm the adult, I'm the mom, I kind of know what I'm doing here. And even if I make a decision that doesn't pan out so well, I'll make adjustments. We'll shift. So how does this relate to your body? How does this relate to diet? I am really, so if I'm talking to 50 different people with Hashimoto's, I would be in 50 different conversations. Some people, I speak to them and I would be very clear with them, you need to follow a specific diet. For you, based on your journey and what you've told me, part of your task is to trust yourself and trust your experience and trust your inner knowing. And sometimes your experience and your inner knowing will go against what the doctors say or what Google says or what the internet says or what this expert says or that expert says. So if you say to me, I think some of these diets might not have been so good for me. They might have caused more harm than good. I believe you. When you say to me, I just want to eat clean. That's a perfectly logical conclusion based on the nutrition experiments that you've done. So I'm always into trying, okay, yeah, let's go gluten-free. Let's go dairy-free and see how we feel. Let's go paleo and we see how we feel. Let's go keto, we see how we feel. And part of how we feel means, is this sustainable? Can I do this? Because part of what's going to heal you is you relaxing into your life more. and learning as best you can how to manage the difficulties in a different way. So now that you have a digestive challenge, it's going to bring you more in relationship with your digestive system, with your gut, with your midsection. So instead of looking at it like a problem, look at it like your digestive system is your new baby. You're another baby in the house now. And meaning it's a part of you that you have to nurture. It's a part of you that you have to massage. It's a part of you that you have to send love to. And you have to notice it. It's irritable bowel syndrome. Chances are for you, given what you told me, you had a precipitating event. For some people, you take gluten out of the diet and you clean up irritable bowel syndrome. You take certain allergens out of the diet, you clean up irritable bowel syndrome. For a lot of people, food has nothing to do with it. It's a syndrome, it's a spectrum, it's a catch-all term for you're having digestive issues and we can't exactly tell you precisely what's going on. Could be diet, it could be emotions, it could be a combination. And to me, you have a sensitive body, and your body is feeling. Sometimes when we can't fully metabolize what our life is doing, our body does it for us. So we send those feelings to our heart, to our lungs, to our digestive system. So I would love to see you let go of fixing yourself as if you're broken, and imagine that this is me, this is Aldona. I've been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I know a lot about diet. I've tried a lot of different things, I'm going to trust my inner voice, and I'm going to just eat clean and trust that. Because who are you going to trust at this point? Who are you going to listen to? You've listened to a lot of experts. You've tried a lot of things. And to me, what this challenge is teaching you how to find a home in your body, and finding a home in your body means finding a home in myself, because we're all going to die anyway. No matter what you and I eat, you could eat the perfect diet. I could eat the perfect diet. The end result is going to be, we're going to die at some point. So it's focusing on nourishing yourself instead of fixing yourself. It's focusing on, this is my life, and I'm going to eat clean, and that's my nutritional strategy. And then just listen to your body. And if you want to have the gluten, you want to have the pastry because it feels good, great. That's going to make you feel good. That's going to help you relax. It's not going to kill you. It hasn't. So I'm talking a lot here. How is all this landing for you, Aldona?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for showing me your perspective, and I agree with what you are saying. I do agree. I just don't understand why this challenge of why trusting myself is such a big challenge. Because I've been eating clean already for a while. But still, this IBS persists. And I think, like now I really have issue with my gut, basically. Mm-hmm. So I question whether my strategy is actually the right one, or whether I should go again, into this different type of diets, and like be, yeah, but, only when I think about it, I already get stressed, Yeah. I'm already getting like, like I can't do it, there is something happening inside of me. There's big no inside of me.
Yes. So certain questions that we ask don't necessarily get us anywhere. If I ask myself, if you ask yourself the question, well, why don't I trust myself? Oh my goodness, I should be trusting myself. Why don't I trust myself? I don't know that that's a useful question, because you might never find an answer, or there might be a million answers, but the answer doesn't really matter. What matters is I notice, I don't trust myself. Okay, how do I start to learn to trust myself now here? I can make up all kinds of reasons why you don't trust yourself. Okay, you had a child with this person and now you're not together. So maybe you don't trust your choices. That's happened to me before. I'd end up in a relationship and I think, oh my God, how did I make that choice? Now I'm not going to trust myself for my next choice. Or, it's just whatever it is. So sometimes life is hard and you've been trying very hard. You've been trying very hard to heal your body. You've been trying very hard, probably in many places in your life, and it's not working out exactly like you planned. So there's going to be a part of you that doesn't trust yourself. And instead of saying, well, why is that? Let go of the why and understand, I'm learning how to better trust myself. I'm learning how to listen to my inner voice. I'm learning how to listen to my intuition. And that's not always easy for me. By the way, that's not easy for most people in various places, in various ways. So you're learning how to trust yourself now, maybe for the first time in a certain way, because of how you're being challenged. You're learning how to trust your body, even though it's not working perfectly.
Right.
Because the reality is the body is the body's vulnerable. The body has a time limit on it. The body breaks down. As we get older, the body becomes more sensitive to certain things. It especially becomes more sensitive to us, to our internal world, to our stressors, to our upsets, to our fears, to our anxieties. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you adopt the strategy that I hear your intuition and your experience is saying, which is, I want to eat clean. And you said, I want to have peace with food. The peace comes from trusting yourself.
Exactly.
That's where the peace comes from. And trusting yourself doesn't mean I trust that I'm going to make the right choice every time. That's not what trust means. Trust means that I trust that even if I make a choice and it turns out, that didn't work for me, that you're not going to beat yourself up. You're not going to hate on yourself. You're not going to yell at yourself. You're not going to speak mean to yourself. You're going to go, okay, tried that. That didn't work. Let's try something else. Your child trusts you because if he's learning how to read and he doesn't know how to read and he makes a mistake, you don't yell at him. You don't scream at him. You don't say, I'm not your mother anymore. I don't like you. No, he trusts that even though he's not perfect, that you're going to still love him. So that's the kind of trust I'm talking about. You trust that, I'm going to try this. And I trust that I'm going to stand by myself no matter what.
All right.
Because there's a part of you that really wants to get it right. And I respect that. You want to figure it out. And this is something that is more, what's the word? It's not easily graspable. It's not like you broke your finger and you put a little cast on it and you wait 6 weeks. It's not so clear. So there's uncertainties that we have with our body. So when there's uncertainty, you need self-love. You need to be ongoingly nourishing yourself, even though I'm having this digestive challenge. Instead of calling it IBS, you can call it my very sensitive digestive system. And then you gradually learn how to work with it. I have the same thing. I've never had digestive issues. And in the last year, my stress makes my digestion worse. And I have to really pay attention to it. And it's almost immediate. If there's something going on that causes me anxiety, that causes me fear, it goes right to my digestive system. I feel bloated. I can't digest my food well. So then I have to go work on myself. I have to go take a walk. I have to listen to some music. I have to find something that relaxes me. I just can't push through it. So you're learning how to be with your body in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was reading all those books about Hashimoto's, first books that I was reading were mostly, focusing on strictly on diet, protocols, the Isabella Vance, that's that sort of books. Also Magdalena Wszelaki. It's actually funny, they both Polish, living in America.
Isabella Vance is a friend of mine. Yes.
Yeah, well, I got that from previous podcast, I think, when you were talking about her. But, at some point, I started reading different books, which are also about Hashimoto's, how to heal it. But the focus on diet was, there was focus on diet, but they were more focusing on emotional side, on psychological side, on spiritual side of things. And those books, I felt like they were calling my name. I felt like, I resonate with it, like, perhaps this is what I need to take care of, and actually it took me also on by going into that direction, it took me on a journey of I would say spiritual journey, I did a lot of work in that area, also healing my mother wounds, and exactly this what you were talking about looking at my digestive system from a different perspective, and being loving and kind and good to myself. Somehow, I feel inside that this is more important for me than the diet itself.
Yes. So go.
No, but at the same time, I also know that you need, it's not good to go from one approach to another, just, quick everything in one area to do the other area. I think everything has to be, holistic. You have to look at all aspects. But I do feel like, you heal the body when you heal the emotional side of you, what is there, the pain inside of you. And I think that this has I have a lot to do in that area, maybe, that more than the diet itself. But there is, this part of me that it's still resisting that, that's the food side is so important.
So food is important for everybody. Nutrition is important for everybody. Every human being, if you eat well, it's going to put you in a better probability for health. If you eat poor quality, it's going to put you in a better probability for symptoms and dis-ease. So sure, food's important. You keep making it either or in your head and it confuses you. You're taking yourself out of balance by making it, it's got to be this either or thing. So what I'm suggesting to you is you just look at your diet as, I'm going to keep my diet clean as I possibly can, period. and you reach for the foods that you're drawn to. Oh, this is a clean food that I like. Oh, this is a clean food that I enjoy. This is a clean food that I feel like eating right now. And if there's times when you feel like having a dessert that's maybe not the cleanest, have it and see how you feel. Trust yourself. If you eat a piece of cake, it's not going to kill you. I'm interested in you relaxing around the food piece more. If diet could have healed you, it would have already.
This is what I also tell myself. Like, if it could, it would already. At least I think so. Yes.
So it's taking it out of your head and just dropping into your body and saying that my job is to just love and nourish my body. You get confused when you're trying to figure out how to fix everything. This is more important than that, and that's more important than this. And if I don't do this, and this is not going to happen. If I don't do these two things in the right way, no. It's simplify it for yourself. Simplify it for yourself, a clean diet, and your life right now is your healing journey. Yeah, we can always work on the past. We can always work on our mother wounds. That's great. And the best material to work on in your life is what's happening right now. That's the best place. It's this conversation that we're in. It's you learning how to trust yourself, you learning how to listen to your inner voice and trust it, because I've been hearing your inner voice talking, and then it speaks, and then you doubt yourself.
Yeah, that's my story.
Yes. So there's a choice that you make. It's literally a choice, and you might not be ready to make it today, but the choice is going to be, I'm going to choose to trust myself, which means I'm going to listen to my inner guidance, listen to my inner voice. And even if things don't work out perfectly, I trust that I'm still going to stand by myself and still love myself and still look for other ways to make myself and help myself feel better. Again, that's what trust is. So for you, I think a big part of the journey is letting go of fixing everything and looking in the mirror and saying, here's me, here's Aldona, here's my challenges. I'm dealing with Hashimoto's to whatever degree I am, and I have this very sensitive digestive system. How do I be with this today? How do I live with this? How do I continue to love and nourish myself? How do I continue to show up for my child and be a good mother? That's what's important, is you relaxing into your life and living this life. Because there's a part of you that's waiting for everything to get fixed.
Yeah, this is true. In a way, I do. I would like to, like tick a box, that I've done it, because for quite some time, I was actually hoping, that I will heal myself with the diet, and I could become one of those health coaches that help people, to heal with the diet, by showing them how I've done it, and it seems like,
You could be one of those health coaches who works with people and shows them how to be with their Hashimoto's, how to experiment with different things. And there's many people with Hashimoto's who continue to have Hashimoto's. And those people need support. And it's the support of, okay, this is what's going on for you. How do we work with this? How do you be with yourself? How is this asking you to grow? How is it asking you to love yourself? How is it asking you to really live your life, even though you have Hashimoto's? So Part of it is letting go of that dream. Letting go of the dream that I'm going to fix myself, check off the box, and then be that person. You can be of help to a lot of people right now. And the only shift you need to make is to relax more into your journey and say, this is me. And this is your life right now. Your life doesn't begin when you get rid of Hashimoto's and then the box is checked and you can be this new person. Your life begins every moment of every day. Every time you wake up, your life begins. That's your real life. And it's about you embracing your sensitive digestion and learning how to work with that. It's about embracing Hashimoto's and just, yeah, this is me.
Yes. Yeah.
So no more fighting it. No more trying to fix it. No more spinning around in your head. You know, I'm half Polish. My two of my grandparents came from Poland. They spoke fluent Polish when I was growing up. Never understood what they were saying. And I always used to think like the Polish side of my family, they can be very black and white in their thinking. That's what I used to say to myself. And I just want to make sure, you know, humans could be very black and white. And meaning it's either this or it's that.
No, but I've heard that before. I've heard that before about my nation, that there is something about us, you know, that we are quite, black and white, you may say, in our choices, but also like determined, you know, like if we want to do something, we go for it, you know.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the history of Poland, you know, I've been thinking about it too, because you are not the first one telling me that.
Yeah, but it's a superpower. It's a good thing because, like you say, when you set your mind to something, you could do it. It's like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm doing this. And that gets things done. That kind of approach makes things happen. And it can be a detriment when you're on your healing journey. And our healing journey usually is not a black and white affair. It's either this or that. If you do this, you heal. If you don't do this, you don't heal. No, it doesn't always work that way. And you're discovering that. So you're learning how to live in that zone where there's no certainty, there's no black and white, and humans, we don't like that. We want certainty. I don't want uncertainty. I want to know what's going to happen. I want to know I'm going to get better. I want to know I'm going to be healthy. I want to know that if I eat this difficult to follow diet, that it's going to do something good for me. And you're being asked to learn how to be, I think, just more sensitive with yourself and take care of yourself when you're not sure. And again, it's listening to your intuition. Intuition doesn't come from a black and white place. It doesn't come from the logical linear mind. Intuition comes from a completely different place. And I think just speaking with you, your intuition is very strong and is very powerful. You just don't always trust it. Like, to me, you trusted your intuition when you decided, okay, I have Hashimoto's, I'm going to try this diet. And that didn't work, I'm going to try this diet. That didn't work, I'm going to try. That's following your intuition. Now, at some point, I might say to myself, God, I've done all these things and nothing worked. So I don't trust myself anymore. What's going on? And to me, you've done everything right. Literally, you've done everything right. You've experimented. You've tried different nutritional approaches. That's what I would have done if it was me. And, oh, okay, that really didn't work for you. So if that was me, I would say, okay, I'm going to just eat the kind of diet that I know helps a human being, any human being, generally speaking, be healthy, a clean diet, and listening to what foods I'm drawn to. There's a lot in this conversation.
Yeah, there is, and it's not like it's all new to me. I've been with this topic, for a long time, and going through your school, going through the other school, I'm also a yoga practitioner, actually, for a long time, and I keep learning, about how to be gentle with myself. But somehow, I feel like I'm surrounded by this theory, that I know it all, it's I meet people on my path who somehow remind me of it, tell me this, today I had this conversation with you that I appreciate so much and I'm very grateful for it. But somehow the practice, of what you've been telling me right now here is, it's so challenging, it's so challenging, I feel like I take one step forward and then I wake up and I see myself doing like 2 steps back, it is, I think it's the most challenging thing that I have encountered in my life so far, like this.
Yes. And I'm glad you're acknowledging that it is challenging. And that's one of the challenges, I think, of getting older in this world is we notice at some point that the challenges don't stop.
No, I would say no. At some point I was saying I have enough, right, on my plate. I really don't need more. But then it's like, okay, let's add something else to it.
Yeah. So this is a big challenge for you, and it's a spiritual challenge. It's a very deeply personal challenge that you're here to learn how to be with and how to address and how to rise to. So it is a practice. It is about watching your mind. It is about noticing when you start to go into black and white thinking, or when you start to go into doubt and you start to not trust yourself, and you go into your head and you forget about your body. So anything that helps you breathe yourself into your body when your mind is getting confused, your mind is not going to solve these things. You're not going to wake up one day and look on the internet and, okay, I figured it out. My mind figured it out. So you're giving it up to the wisdom of life, and you're learning to listen to your inner voice. And we see what happens.
Yes, we see what happens.
Yeah.
I keep fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I hope this was helpful for you, Aldona.
Yes, definitely it was. I hear you. And I acknowledge that. Yes, you're another messenger. You are a messenger, on my path, reminding me of what's important and what is there for me to do here now.
Good. Well, you're lucky that the universe keeps sending you messengers to tell you the same message. Usually that means we're supposed to listen to it. Well, I really appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time and being open with all of us. So thank you, Aldona.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your advice. It was extremely helpful. Thank you so much, Marc. Thank you.
I'm so glad. And take care, everybody.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.